Welcome, everyone. We are live and it is Thursday. Now, I'm not going to keep you long, but you see the topic 3 steps to stop worry. First, we must know what worry is. Worrying is a habit. Hello. Worrying is a habit. This is all it is. My granny, whoo, she had a PhD in worry. So that's where I learned the art through observation from her, you know. But really and truly, worry is a habit. Oh, what am I gonna do? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And you're pacing, right? Yeah, but I don't know how this is gonna turn out. Ah, go back to the principles. Go back to the law. Step one, what's got you in a tizzy? Why are you worried? What are you worried about? And now that that's out in the open, just say it to yourself. Well, I'm worried about blah, just let it out. Okay. Now that you've acknowledged it, look at how much it impacts your life. Look at when you're driving, you're thinking about it. When you're at work, you're thinking about it. If you're not at work, you're thinking about it. You're worried, right? It affects you in every aspect of your life because you are living and you're doing the same thing the same way every time. So the step is this: acknowledge it. I'm so worried about, yay, you got that out of the way. Step two, experience and imagination. What you would be doing if you weren't worried about that thing anymore. Where would your mind be? What would you be saying to yourself? How would you be saying it to yourself? Now, you choose one activity that you do in the day. Just pick one activity that you do in the day. Is it walking your dog? Is it sweeping the floor? Is it mopping the floor? Is it cleaning the bathroom? Doing the dishes? What is getting into bed, getting out of bed, getting into the shower, getting out of the shower? What one activity do you do? Just one. And when you do that activity, put your mind where you want it to be. Begin to have a conversation. Now, let's explain that. To begin to have a conversation. Um, Neville used the telephone technique where somebody would call him and they'd tell him something, but he wouldn't hear what their problem was. He would only hear what he wanted to hear. He would hear how much better they were, and he would hear their success. So instead of hearing, Neville, man, I can't do this thing. I don't know what to do, Neville. Neville would hear them say, in his mind's eye, he would hear them say, Neville, you'd never believe it. We did it. We accomplished it. That's what he would hear. Oh, yes, this thing is awesome. Ah, blah, blah. He would only hear that. Now, people call Neville all the time. So Neville used the activity that he was most used to, which is the phone. So anytime anybody called him, he trained himself to hear what he wanted to hear. He did something natural, right? He did something natural. And if you know anything about Bajans, Bajans always have such an interesting conversation with themselves. We just do, right? So when you choose that activity that you're going to do, it takes a moment for you, okay, to get yourself in that mood, that mental frame of mind. Remember when he was stuck in Barbados and he had a speaking engagement and there was no space on any of the boats, right? No space. Neville sat down, okay? Now, if you traveled in Barbados at any time back in the day, it was always on a boat. So Neville sat down in the chair, and because he grew up near the ocean, or I should say how we call it in Barbados, he grew up near the sea. He could smell the brine of the water naturally. He didn't do anything that was far-fetched. Everything he did was natural. He could feel the rock of the boat. Don't rock the boat, baby. He could feel the rock of the boat, the listing of the boat, and he could smell the brine, the salt in the air. You could feel it on your skin. That was natural to him because that's where he grew up. So then he sat down in the chair and he saw himself walking up the gangplank. His brother was there because he's always with his family. So naturally, he'd be with his family. And he knew what his brother was like. His brother was a gentleman. So he said, look, my brother will hand me my daughter. Because naturally, that's what his family was like. He did not do anything that was far-fetched or hypothetical. So when he says to have a natural conversation, that's what you do. Remember the woman who had I think it was the grandson, or is it the nephew? But he had this mark on his face. I think he was born with it or something happened to him. All I remember is the little boy had a mark on his face and his mother was just beside herself. She just couldn't handle that mark on his face. Right? So Neville heard her say to him, because she called him, "Oh my God, Neville, he's got this thing." And so Neville said, "Okay." So naturally, she would call me to tell me that it is gone because she called him to tell him that it was there. And another way that Neville was natural, people wrote Neville all the time. So Neville was used to opening letters, right? So then he would open up, remember when he told you, open the letter and read what you want to read. For him, that was natural because he was so used to opening up mail from people, just like he was used to taking calls from people. So naturally, that's what he did. So when, remember way back, when Abdullah said to him, "You are in Barbados. You're in Barbados." And what's the first thing that Neville said? He's like, "But there are no palm trees here." So he was trying to do something, right? From a place that wasn't natural. That's why he struggled in the beginning, because he was trying to do something because he didn't grasp what Abdullah was saying. So he was worried because he couldn't see. He's like, "Well, how could I be in Barbados?" Right? So he struggled with that. And then there was another one I wanted to tell you with what he did. Remember when he wanted to get an honorable discharge from the army? What did he do that was natural? He knew every night he would have to go to bed. So every night that he got into bed, he closed his eyes and he said he slept in his bed in New York. But he's in the army, so how could he sleep in his bed in New York? He did something that was natural. He got into bed. If he was in New York, he'd be getting into bed. And at that time, because when he says it, he said he saw twin beds because him and his wife would sleep in twin beds, you know, same room, but twin beds. So every night that he was in the army and he got into bed, his mental attitude, what he felt, because that's what he would have done naturally, gotten into bed. So it felt natural already. So that every time he got into bed, he would put himself in that frame of mind. And in Two Shakes of a Lamb's Tail, all he did, because he didn't worry about it, all he did was get into bed in his mind's eye in New York, even though physically he was in the army, because he was doing something that was natural. He would have been getting into bed anyway. You understand? He would have been getting into bed anyway. And so that's why he chose that thing because it was natural. He noticed how he didn't say when he was doing his drills because he wouldn't be doing drills in New York, right? So, the key to helping us to not worry, you see, you don't fight against worry because you can't. Because wherever you turn your face towards is what you're going to see and it's what you're going to experience every single time. So you turn yourself naturally to something that you would already be doing. And every time you do it, Neville also went as far as to say, even if you have naysayers in your life, huh? If you have people, like again, this is a very Bajan thing to do. Bajans, I tell you, Bajans are a funny lot. If there is something or someone you're not quite sure of them, you're not quite sure you like them, they would whisper. We call it wizzy wizzying, right? Say, look at she now. Who she thinks she is? Look at she. Think she's somebody special. So that's what they would whisper about you, right? They don't say it, but they whisper it about you. So he's saying if you have someone in your life like that, use that conversation because how do you know? You've encountered them before. You've encountered somebody saying to you, "Oh, please. You can never do this." You've encountered somebody like that before. So what you do with that internal conversation, you hear that person talking about you. What are they saying about you? Oh, she thinks she's this. Look at her with all her money. She's so flashy. She's flaunting these things. Oh, look at her with her man. Oh, now she don't have any friends anymore because she's all about her man, right? Because it's called gossip. People will do it. So if you use that conversation because it is something that would naturally happen in your world, and you hear them talking about you, well, then Bonnie rate the situation and give them something to talk about. Put the words in their mouth. They're talking and they're insulting you, right? But what are they insulting you about? Your success. So if you have one of those people in your life, hear them talk about you. Because look at what we do naturally. I can't believe they said that to me. I can't believe they said that about me. Who do they think they are? I don't owe them anything. You've had that conversation with yourself before. Naturally. So, if you have one of those types of people in your lives, that is the same conversation you would hear. Because when you hear that conversation says, oh, well, she's successful or he's successful. Because look at how they're talking about me now. Look at how they're judging me now. Right? So, in order to stop yourself from worrying, you have to give yourself something else, a new focus, but something that is natural. One cousin always says to me, she goes, "Ugh, you always think outside of the box. Like nothing ever stops you. How do you even do that? These things she's like, you just think so big." That is something she always says to me. I don't see I don't see it, but she sees it. And she says, you just think so big. So naturally, if I want to have a conversation and I'm fretting about something that I want to bring about in my life, I would put myself in that mental attitude. The way I feel when she says to me, you always think so big. Nothing ever stops you. How do you do that? Whenever she says that to me, it makes me feel a particular way. So when she says it to me based on the situation that I want to experience, I hear that and I automatically feel like a success. Because every time she says it to me, it's usually after something beautiful has happened, but so big that she's like, "Ugh, how did you do that?" And so there's a certain feeling that I get when she says that to me. So whatever that thing is that I want to accomplish, I hear her tell me. I hear her say that same phrase, and then that feeling is what I feel, the way it makes me feel when she says what she says. For instance, you know how you have someone in your life sometimes and they can be mean, but they telling you that they're not, they're giving you tough love, right? And if you don't remember that person, well, then you're that person. So that tough love, right? You can hear that. You see how it makes you feel? So every time you think about it, you get the feeling. So to prevent yourself from worrying, hear, see, sense, feel something that naturally occurs in your life. Some people call me all the time or message me to tell me things, right? So when I talk to them, I tell them, you always call me. So why don't you hear the conversation in your head of what you will say to me and how you know I would respond? And you see how it makes you feel? That's the feeling you want. So every time you're doing whatever that thing is in your day that is natural to you, getting into bed or getting out of bed, and you start to have that conversation, I would tell positively Angela, dot, dot, dot. And so that's your thing. You would tell me something. What would you tell me? All you need is something simple. Oh my God. It has to be the way you talk. Oh my God. You'll never guess what happened. That's all you have to say. And then you know exactly how I'm going to respond, and you know how you're going to feel when you hear my response. So when you have that inner conversation, oh my God, positively, you'll never guess. That's all you have to say, because that now moves you into the mentality of your success and what your success would feel like naturally, because naturally you would tell me, right? Naturally, you would tell me. So it is always to do something natural. You acknowledge the thing that's got you worried. And remember that worry is a habit. It is. It's something you've done for a long time. You've got a neurological pathway. You have a neurological pathway set down already. That if money comes up, if a relationship comes up, if this comes up, you worry. Oh man. Ah, shucks. Whatever, however you say it. You worry. It's a habit because you've done it for such a long time. But now the way to remember what I told you yesterday, you just need to persist, but it has to be something natural. What is natural? What would you get up and go outside in the yard and mow the lawn? And it's something you do every day. You drink your tea at the same time every day. You get out of bed at the same time every day. If you got a 9 to 5, if you got a 7 to 4, you get in and out of bed the same time every day. You go to the same grocery store. We do very mundane things. Choose one of them. And the reason why you want the mundane is because the thrill always wears off. Mm? New brooms sweep clean, but old brooms nor the corners. The new broom is going to sweep clean. But you see that old broom? The new broom will become the old broom. So that is what step 2 is. Choose something that you would naturally be doing, and you catch the mood, the mental mood of what you would be doing if you didn't have this worry, if you didn't have this problem, you'd be doing something. For instance, if you had a hip issue or a knee issue, well, presently, you can't even step too good or drop it like it's hot because it hurts. But if it didn't hurt, because you weren't always in pain, you may have been in pain for a long time. Now the pain just becomes a habit. A dull noise in the background. Something you just live with, right? But if that pain wasn't there, what would you be doing? You'd be walking up those stairs like you always do. So walk up the stairs with a different mentality. Somebody would say to you, because the people who know you most, "Oh, girl, I feel so bad for you. If there's anything I can do to help you, let me know. Mm? Oh, Lord, look at all that medication you're taking. Mm? All that pain. I will pray for you." You have people like that in your life. But what would they say to you if they notice, wait, something is different about you? You're not limping. You're not taking, you're moving faster. What did you do? Now, there's a feeling that you'll get with the opportunity to say, girl, let me tell you, this old hip don't bother me anymore. What did you do? Did you get a hip replacement? That's the first thing they ask you. And when you get that feeling of, I get to tell my story, we call it a testimony in church. See that feeling? Every time you recall something that you have overcome, there's a feeling. Is there not? That is the feeling that you capture. That's the feeling that you capture when you are doing whatever that mundane thing is. Catch that feeling. Because it is that feeling. Think about it for a moment. Every time you reminisce, okay, every time you reminisce about how someone has hurt you or wronged you, what feeling do you get in your chest? Hmm? You get a feeling that goes along with that. So if you pay attention, you will notice what that feeling is. So begin to choose feelings that feel better to you and put yourself in that mood to do the mundane things. This is why Neville could stand up and shave and be in a state akin to sleep. He didn't have to lay down to be in a state akin to sleep. That's where you start out. But no, because he knew how to move mentally. He knew how to move mentally and to put himself in a mood. That is how you stop worry, by removing your attention from the problem and putting it on the solution. And remember the principle of rhythm, ebb and flow. There's always an ebb and a flow. We're not happy 24/7, 365, 366. We can't be, because everything moves. So today, you could practice as many times as you want, and then, quote unquote, all of a sudden, bam, you're back in the old. It's all right. If you pay attention, you'll notice the gap gets bigger between the old and the new. At first, when you start doing it, you feel like you're always slipping backwards. You're always back in the same old attitude. But if you watch, you will notice the more you redirect yourself to be in the mental attitude that you want to be, you will be able to do that more than you slip backwards. You'll be able to see your progress. Not because you're searching for your progress. You know the progress happens because what you practice, you perform. You know that that's inevitable. So you don't have to look for the progress. You know the progress is there and you'll see it. Because you'll say to yourself, oh, wait a minute. I I wasn't in a bad mood, like, for most of the day. Holy cow! Like, those things, when you practice moving mentally, you will move physically in the direction that you were deliberate about. So, to banish worry in 3 steps, acknowledge the thing. Oh my God, I'm so worried about dot, dot, dot. Every day I get up and, right. So, you practice every day you get up because that's what you do naturally. And you hear what you want to hear. You see what you want to see. But, Angela, wouldn't that be delusional? So, let me ask you this. Are you delusional when you sit there and you reminisce about how somebody's hurt you? Mm-hmm. Mm. That's not delusional, but you want to say to put your mind where you want it to be deliberately, that would be delusional? Come now. No. Because then you would have to call reminiscing delusional. Because look at how many of us sit there and we ruminate, we fixate, pontificate, you name it. We sit there and we go over what that person said to you. How dare you talk to me that way? And we go over that, man, till we just start salivating and we just get so mad and hurt all over again. Reliving it, getting your body to produce the same chemical response. But here I am telling you, and I am telling you, right? I'm telling you, it is the same principle that applies. When you want to change your life, what would you naturally say to yourself? Every time my son learns a new move, when he goes to class and he gets to practice it when they spar, he goes, Ma, did you see it? You see it? And he gets so excited because he's out here in these streets practicing all the time. I cannot tear him away from his practice. And you know what he says to me? He goes, Ma, I remember when I couldn't do this. Because that is how we speak to ourselves naturally. So naturally, Neville Goddard says it is a quote unquote technique to use. Man, I remember when I. Hmm. So if you say that naturally to yourself, to banish your worry, where in your life do you remember? Oh, wow. I remember when I used to do that. Oh, I remember when I used to be dot, dot, dot. Whoo, I'm glad I'm not that way anymore. Mm. See how it makes you feel? Get into bed with that feeling. Even if you do it for 30 seconds. Because the moment you start doing it, you start forming the new pathway in your brain to live it out. And all you do is to persistently do it. Every time you get into bed, if that's what you're going to choose naturally, do it there. If you're going to choose getting out of bed, then do it before you get out of bed every morning. Even if it is 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 5 seconds, it is irrelevant the duration of time. The relevance is the frequency, meaning how many times, how many mornings can you get out of bed with that attitude? And pretty soon, that's the attitude you'll be getting out of bed with every day. And a funny thing will happen. Your life will match it. But you see, we want fast, don't we? We want it and we want it now, don't we? And that's the thing. Remember what daddy says? You rush the brush, you waste the pen. Take your time. Because when you practice with the mindset that says, I will perform what I practice because that is it. You go to Kung Fu and you practice, practice, practice. You think of Bruce Lee, Jet Li, Jackie Chan. Do you know how many years of practice they had? Let me put it for you this way: their whole lives. So, what does that tell you that practice is? A lifestyle, not a flash in the pan, but a lifestyle. So, a lifestyle is a habit. So, make it a habit to speak to yourself in a particular way. Make it a habit that you will redirect yourself towards the desired outcome versus complaining about the present situation. That is how one banishes worry. It's as simple as that. Oh, but Angela, if it was so simple, everybody would be doing it. Do you know why they're not doing it? Because they think it takes too long. If there was a pill to take to banish worry, shoot. Mind you, they are some, but they don't just banish worry, they banish you. Oh, they do. They mess with your psyche. So today, my beautiful friends, as you and I go out into this world, what are you worried about? And the thing is, it slips into the background, a subtle hum, Just because you've gotten used to it, that's all. The worry has now become mundane. Hmm? And then your spirit is unsettled, and we forget why the spirit is unsettled, because the habit has become so ingrained. Second nature, autopilot. The same way out is the same way in. Step one, and I will leave you with this. Step one, acknowledge it. Step two, experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were free of worry. Step three, know. Know that what you practice, you perform. You practice worry, you live it out. So practice something else. And the something else to practice is that inner conversation. And you just choose one time throughout the day while you're doing that. If you want to use every time I drive to work, or every time I drive home, every time I go to the grocery store, every time I stop at the Starbucks, every time I go to the Tim Hortons, every time I go to the bathroom, I'll put myself in the mental mood of who I now am. And you will realize that you don't have to ask how long it's going to take. You don't have to ask that question. You know why? Because you know it is inevitable that it comes about. And when it happens, you won't even see it. You know why you won't see it? Because now it's become your habit. And you won't see it unless you pay attention. Anywho, Hilarion, hello, darling. I see you in these Twitter streets. Hey, Frame, meow, hello. I see you in these YouTube streets, Belly Bell. I see you. I see you, my Liza, darling. Mr. Stafford Jr., the better man. I see you all. Ray Ray is in the house. Summer Rose is in the house. Miss McQueen, darling. And DJ Rick. Oh my God. I crack me up. I see you all. Listen, thank you for being here and spending this time with us today. Whew. Girl, I gotta delete some apps, let me tell you. Because It's just too much. I've got to delete apps. I really do. Because just it's just too much. Too much. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying to you. Choose your mental attitude. And the more you choose it, the more you'll have to choose it. The mental attitude cares not which one you choose. It doesn't care. It just simply says, pick one. And the one you choose the most often is now who you have become. Gosh, I just love you. You're amazing. Queen Mo stopped by. Wow. You go, girl. Anyway, I'm going to go get ready for work. The chickens are fed and clean, and I got hugs and kisses already this morning. Mm-hmm. 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 Not just from the Roo. My boy, because he helped with those two. He helped with the chickens. I tell you, he says some things that are totally hilarious. You just look, just live your life and just just live for the love of God. Just live your life. He's like, I said, can you break up that pill for the chickens? So he goes and he gets in life. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, moms have repressed anger. They can just crush things. So I took the pill and I broke it in between my fingers. He goes, you see? He goes, I'm not strong like that. I was like, repressed anger. What are you talking about? He goes, all mummies, Ma. All mummies. And I'm like, this child of mine is something else. He's awesome. Listen, we laugh a lot in this house. We just do. And I was showing him this kick that I saw this girl was doing, and then I said, ow, my ankle. He goes, Ma, you only hurt your ankle because you didn't stretch, not because you're old. I'm like, oh. It's like, I was like, get out. Who are you? Where did you come from? Listen, find the joy there. You don't listen. You don't even have to search for it. It's always there. It is always there. And if you quiet yourself, you'll catch it. It is just like the mood. It's just like the mood. You know? Anywho, I love you. And you know where to find me right here, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, fan base. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, positivelyangela.com. And the workshop is coming up. I still have not chosen a day. Do you know that? I still have not chosen a day. No, I haven't. I just haven't. But you'll have enough time. Don't worry. Yes. If you have questions, positivelyangela.com. Send me a note, send me an email, slide into my DMs, whatever you want to call it, and let me know. And like I told you, I don't need to know your life story. I just want to know one thing. What's that thing you're doing that you don't want to do anymore? And we'll help you flesh it out for what you do naturally. If you think you need more help, positivelyangela.com and book a coaching session. Okay? I might have to add another facet to that, because right now they're half an hour. I don't think you need more time than that, but sometimes you might. So we'll see. Anywho, I love you. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love to each and every one of you, my darlings. And you know that I love you. I'll see you on the morrow, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mwah. Peace out.